My journey of telling my story began about a year ago when I presented my speech, My Dirty Little Secret. To me at the time, exposing myself was not an option. I felt it was nobody's business what my at-home life was like. I'm fortunate that I go to Smith because when I first told my story, I knew this was a family atmosphere and I wouldn't be looked at differently. Secondly is because a lot of people are in the same shoes that I walk in, but just not the same way. People live with their grandparents just like I do, but they just so happen not to be in foster care, or they live with people outside of their family and just so happen to not be adopted by them. Progressively, my storytelling became larger and larger and larger. When I told my story and it aired on the news during CIAA week, I felt a sense of relief that everybody knew who I was now and I wasn't hiding behind something that I used to be or that I wanted to be. Now I can just be me and everybody would know my story and it wouldn't be, oh, I'm just telling this one person I live this way and I'm telling this other person I live that way. Now everybody know me for the real person that I am. Hello, my name is Jockuela Ballard and I'm a senior at Johnson C. Smith University. I was asked to tell a story about who paved the way for me in my education. I was adopted at the age of 20 in October of 2011 by my cheerleading coach and her husband, who I've been knowing since I was 10 years old. I've been living with them since I was 16 years old, but education became a big role in their household, so I had to step my game up to understand what education meant to them. She paved the way for me by giving me a couple of simple words when I first moved in with her, and it was, did I want to go to college? When I moved in with her, I had a GPA of a 2.6, and after that semester, I had a GPA of a 3.0. She was the biggest person that played the best role in my education life, and for you to understand where I'm going, you have to understand where I came from, and this is what this video is about. Thank you. Growing up, many want to imagine everything is so perfect, but no, deep down inside it's not. Acting like a different person in public, but crying yourself to sleep every night because they just want to live a regular life. You're looking right at this person. My life was affected by drugs, gangbanging, abuse, and much worse, the system. Growing up in the hood with my two brothers and one sister, being raised by my great-grandmother and an addict for a mother, and still to this day not knowing who my real father is. I thought my life was hell. Raised by a system and not knowing why until I was 15 years old, I had a heart full of anger and pain. I didn't know what to do. When I finally started to deal with it, the only person that cared about me had a stroke, my great-grandmother. At the age of 16, I was placed in a foster home. Not knowing how to respond to this, I became rebelling, very disrespectful, and many other things. I had to realize that this situation could have been worse, and it wasn't. I was placed with people I knew and that loved me very much. But I was so hurt from the past, I didn't know how to accept caring parents because I never had any. Moving with them, I had a 1.6 GPA. By the next semester, which was my second semester of my junior year, I had a 3.25 GPA, the highest I had ever received in high school. Graduated high school with a 2.8 GPA, never thinking college would ever be my next step because I messed up so bad throughout my life. Not to mention, no one in my family attended college, not even community. In February of 2008, I received not one, but 4 acceptance letters to different colleges. At this point in my life, I felt so accomplished and nothing could be taken away from me. Knowing that I beat every stereotype that had been set against me my entire life. My mother was addicted to drugs, no father, raised in one of the worst areas in San Francisco, lived with my great-grandmother and had a learning disability, and most of all was raised in the system. I had all of these different labels on me, but I know that I was headed in the direction that my adoptive parents made possible for me. Now today, holding a 3.3 GPA, graduating in May of 2012, I have made it past all the hurdles, distractions, and many more. I wanted to tell my story to give a voice to the younger youth that are in foster care or just maybe having a crazy life at home. I don't want you to live a double life. I want you to create your path and own it. You don't have to follow the path of others. You can create your own path and walk down it alone. Because at the end of the day, all you have is you. I had to realize that. And unfortunately, I realized it a little older, but I'm happy that I realized it. You can always live in someone else's shadows, but it takes somebody very strong to make their own.